I think we're live. I think we're live on YouTube.
On the internet.
On the internet. Joining me, I'm Phil Holloway. I'm 100% LCFC editor. So this is a bit of a trial. We'll see if it works. Joining us, we have got... Hi, Owynn.
Hi. Nice to meet you. Over the internet for the first time. So yeah, it kind of cut out then, but I'm back and I'm here. Yes, of course. Yeah, this is a bit of a test run, but interesting to see where this one goes, really.
Absolutely. Fans going to join us. Maybe they're just watching. Maybe nobody's watching. Anyway, this will be down on YouTube tomorrow or later tonight, and we've got lots of things we can talk about. First of all, Owynn, let's talk about what on earth is going on at Leicester City with the manager's situation.
Oh, it's a little bit crazy at the moment. I think this is more of a case of Leicester City have been linked with a manager, and he was never going to be coming here in the first place. I think that's the case. I think people have read a little bit too much into that. I mean, he's been linked with other jobs as well, such as the assistant manager's job at Watford, and also at Sheffield Wednesday as well. So it's not just Leicester City he's being linked with at the moment, but from seeing the fans' opinion all over social media and things, I've got a feeling they don't want him. Just a hunch, based on what they've been saying so far.
Yeah, I think you're totally right, Owynn. I think we put something out. I think the news broke at about 5 o'clock earlier, and we put stuff out on Facebook. And to say that everybody is not impressed is an understatement. I mean, what happened was, just if people haven't known what happened, is that the bookies, including people like Sky Bet, suddenly out of nowhere, this name appeared, and it was at 11 to 10, which is a massive hot favourite. And probably been somebody's lumped a lot of money on with the bookies, and they've got from.
Definitely, I think that's probably the thing. Someone's got a tip, and I would put a lot of money on someone. And yeah, yes, he has left his post. Yes, he is looking like he's going to come to England. He's announced that he's going to be joining our post in England. That's not to say it is Leicester City. And I know people are thinking, oh, God, the owners are going to go for someone who's unknown. These people are not daft. The Thai owners are not daft. Look at what they've done for the Foxes so far. And when you consider the sort of pedigree that this manager has compared to sort of even Neil Lennon. Neil Lennon has got much more caliber in a managerial sense than this person has, and I think for me it is just someone has put a lot of money on someone, and I'm afraid that they're probably going to lose all of that money as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to read through very quickly through some of the Facebook comments that we had earlier. We had Craig Lord said, "Please make this be true," but he's a Villa fan, so ha, you can get lost, man. Jason Mills goes, "If this is a joke, it's a very bad one, and it's not funny in the slightest." Will Parry said, "This is just another of the bookie's favourites that makes 6 different people since Pearson was sacked. Shall we all reserve the judgment until someone is actually installed? This bloke does sound like a joke, though." Frank Duckworth, interestingly, says, "This whole thing is getting a laugh, or should I say a big piss take. The owners are a laughing stock, and it's making Leicester City a laughing stock as well." I can see what they're saying, Owynn, because this has been now 10, 11 days since Nigel Pearson got the boot, and you think they'd have a plan.
You would think they'd have a plan, and when after Nigel Pearson was sacked, they did announce that they were drawing up a shortlist, and to me, that seemed as though it was very much, his sacking was very much an instinct sort of thing. They sacked him straight away without any hesitation, without any pre-planning as to what they might have to do. For me, that of course, if he is standing up for his son, blood is thicker than water. Yes, but what his son did was wrong, and if he's going to go at the same time as his son, fair enough. That's a completely different story. But you would have thought they would have had someone in mind. They must have seen that this was coming. In a sense, Nigel Pearson has always come out and said he had a very good relationship with the owners and that he spoke on a regular basis. So how did they not see that this argument or this feud was coming along, and for them not to have a backup plan? I think it's very strange, but I think one of the fans you mentioned there said something along the lines of, "Let's reserve judgment until someone is actually appointed," and I think it's a very good point. Of course, names do get branded about, and it's been a very strange sort of list that the bookies have put together. Steve Cotterill, Goose Hiddink, Jurgen Klopp, and
Goose. Hang on. Goose Hiddink.
Gus Hiddink then. Okay.
All right.
And all these different managers have all got different styles. They've all got different experiences. So it's a very strange list. So I think reserving judgment on a manager until they are appointed is probably a very good shout.
Yeah, I mean, Owynn, I totally agree with you. I think it's a very strange list of names in there. There's not too many names in there that particularly excite me, to be fair. I think Gus Hiddink today, not Goose Hiddink, has ruled himself out. I think he's looking for a more senior role, a director of football sort of role. But at his age, 68, 69, you know, he just doesn't fancy managing a team, which is fair enough.
It is fair enough. I read somewhere today that he wants a supervisor role, in terms of Leicester City maybe offering him a supervisor role, so that when they do appoint a manager, it will probably be a younger or less experienced manager, and Hiddink will be there to look over them, look after them, and point them in the right direction, almost like a mentor. I think that's what I read today. Whether that's true or not, obviously, is debatable. Of course, this is merely speculation, but that could be a very good shout by the owners in terms of appointing someone to look over a younger or less experienced manager.
Sure, Owynn, before we go too much further, we've got a few people watching live, which is great, especially this is just a trial show tonight. But if people would like to join in, just click in on Google Hangouts and join in the conversation. We'll bring you in. You can talk on webcam. It doesn't want to be about, it's not just what I think and what Owynn thinks. We're trying to get as many fans to come and chat on the show in live in real time as possible and discuss today's topic. So please join us. Don't just watch the show, join in with the show. So, Owynn, anyway, back to managers. We were just starting to talk about Neil Lennon there. I mean, if you'd asked me yesterday about Neil Lennon, I think I'd said that I think he's been a great Leicester player, obviously, but I'm not sure. I don't think he's really got the capabilities as it stands improving to be a Premier League manager. I'm not sure a team looking to establish themselves now in a mid-table to higher table position in the Premier League would take a risk and drop down a level to get a manager. I think we can be aiming higher than Neil Lennon. No offence, Neil, a great player.
Yeah, I mean, he was a legend in terms of Leicester City's books, isn't he? And if he brought anything to the role, it would be passion. And no doubt every team that went out, every starting 11 that went out, would be going out onto a pitch fired up and ready to play for that club. And I think Neil Lennon, obviously, he's done very well at Celtic. And I think you said in a previous sort of video that I think came out on the 100% LCFC YouTube channel that it's very much a two-horse race in Scotland. So although we did very well to fend off Rangers, there wasn't really much else competition there. But then I think you went on to say that he sort of steadied the ship at Bolton as well. And I saw a very funny comment. Not that I agree with it, but he said someone's managed to make use of Matt Mills by selling him to Forest for some money. So whether that's actually true or not, but at the end of the day, I think Neil Lennon would be a good fit for Leicester City. I know Muzzy is the former Leicester City midfielder as well. At the same time as Neil Lennon has been very strongly tweeting really and making his opinions very clear that he thinks Lennon would be a fantastic suit for the job. I think he said something along the lines of, don't trust these fancy foreign managers in their suits. Go for someone who knows the club. Go for someone who's got passion. And I guess that is what Neil Lennon would bring. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, Neil Lennon, we all saw that when he was for us on the pitch, but I don't think he's got enough experience to take the team on. Steve Cottrell as well, in the top 2 or 3 names that's been bandied around for me. Another one, I don't think he's got enough experience for us as yet. And, you know, much as maybe one day he could be a good manager for a Premier League team, I think we're not no need to be taking the risk on these sorts of managers, if you ask me. If we've sacked Nigel Pearson 10 days ago, I don't think many fans would be saying people like Steve Cottrell, Neil Lennon are top of the list. And this guy from America, I can't even attempt to pronounce his name tonight.
His nickname is Preki. So that's his actual nickname from the club he's at the moment. So I guess we can call him that to refer to him. I think again.
You think it's nonsense, Owynn?
I personally do think that the idea of him coming to Leicester City, I've got a few sources, shall I say, and my beliefs are that he. That was very nice from Justin, I have to say. Yeah,
thanks, Justin. Feel free to join in with a bit of intelligent conversation. I'm going to take it for a Forest fan or a Derby fan.
This is a Leicester City chat, Justin. It'd be nice to get some nice to get some Leicester City sort of views on there, but nevertheless, a scream.
I'm going to give you a couple more. A couple more responses from people on Facebook regarding the Preckie, as you call him. Good old Ivan Smith. We all love Ivan Smith, bless him. He says, amongst
he's got
other
an opinion
things,
too, hasn't he?
He has got an opinion, but he comes out and he says it, and in the end, he said his thing about Nigel Pearson, and you know, it's happened. He said tonight, he said, give this guy times. This is a ridiculous decision. He knows nothing about British football, never mind English Premier League. It's sort of madness. Well, I think virtually every Leicester fan would agree with you. And suddenly, to be fair, this guy is making Neil Lennon look like a nice, attractive option, because I don't think anybody would fancy this guy. Anyway, let's talk about. Should we talk about Klopp? Is there any chance of
that was just as what I was about to say. He just said there that he's got no experience of English football whatsoever. Jurgen Klopp has no experience of English football whatsoever in terms of a managerial sense. I'm unsure about his playing days, but I'm pretty sure he has no experience in the Barclays Premier League as a manager. So do we tie this? Do we tie Preckie and Jurgen Klopp in the same in the same knot? Because if that's the point he's making, that's the point we've got to stick with.
Well, for me, Owynn, I don't think so, because I think we're all starting to get a little bit ahead of ourselves. But I think we all fancy that Leicester are going to be in a top half finish next season. We've all got half an eye on Europe, so we're thinking a guy who's going to come in with great European experience, such as Klopp, could come in, could fancy a challenge, could come and make a real name for him here in the Premier League. I think it'd be a major coup if we did get Klopp, because, to be fair, most fans would say he could slot into a team like Spurs and Liverpool. Lots of people are saying, give Brendan Rodgers a few more months at Liverpool and he'll soon be out. But, obviously, that's nothing to do with us. But I think Klopp's a real outsider, but we'd take him. I mean, that sort of leads us on to the legend that is Martin O'Neill.
Martin O'Neill is one of those people who, whenever Leicester City will have a vacancy, as long as he's still in the game, will be linked with the job. And for obvious reasons, Leicester City had probably one of their most successful and memorable spells over him. It's in the late 90s and early 2000s. So, yeah, I think he's obviously a name that's going to be linked with him, but I can't see it happening, Phil. I really don't. As much as so many Leicester City fans may want it to happen, I really don't think it will, due to the fact that Martin O'Neill said repeatedly he does not want to come back to Leicester City because he does not want to tarnish his reputation. I think that some fans may agree with him. They don't want those memories of those two League Cups being tarnished by a relegation in 2016. You don't know what's going to happen. But again, it's one of those things. He might come back. He might not. Could you ever see Sir Alex Ferguson going back to Manchester United? Probably not. And I think Martin O'Neill is sort of held in the same sort of caliber among Leicester City fans as Sir Alex is among Manchester United fans. So for me, I'd think Martin O'Neill is going to leave that one personally.
The thing for me, Owynn, is last time when we actually ended up taking Nigel Pearson back, the managers said that they were making the change there, and they knew exactly who they wanted to bring in. And then it took them 2 to 3 weeks to bring in Pearson. And I never felt at the time that Nigel Pearson was their first choice. I felt at that time that they wanted to bring Martin O'Neill back in then. But he got various personal things behind that then, I think, O'Neill, and he didn't fancy it. And I think now, with his job for Ireland, I've just got a feeling. I think he's again interesting that he's not ruled himself out. Jack. No. We've got Jack joining us. Can you hear us, Jack? He's gone.
Try again, Jack. Try again. We want. I think it'd be good to get some Leicester City fans. Actually,
we've got to have some other fans on, Owynn. Let's get as many fans on here as we want. Don't just watch me and you talk a load of rubbish. On here and tell us what you think.
Definitely. But in terms of Martin O'Neill, again, the owners might want him back. The owners must have seen what he's done, even if it's just walking around the stadium. There's pictures in the stadium that show what Martin O'Neill has done. There's trophies in the trophy cabinet that show what Martin O'Neill has done when he was at Leicester City. So clearly they're going to want someone who might bring that back. And obviously they're Thai people. The Thai culture is around heritage. And that is exactly what O'Neill brought to Leicester City. So I think if they were to bring him back, they would have to pay him a ridiculous sum of money. But then again, is Martin O'Neill sort of motivated by money? Does he need to come back? Does he want to come back? And again, if Martinelli is a very proud person, if he doesn't want to come back, he won't. He just simply won't come back. So I think it's a lot of temptation by the owners to sort of bring him back in.
I agree with you, Owynn, and I'm just very quickly going to read through the top 10 Leicester managers, the odds. You've got Pedrag, what's his face, at 10 to 11. Let's just hope that's somebody must have lumped a lot of money on that one. That's all we can say. Let's hope if that actually comes off, then I think we'd all be scratching our heads. Next is to 1. We've not talked about Claudio Ranieri at 5 to 1. We'll come on to him shortly. We've talked about Gus Hiddink at 8 to 1, who's dropping out. It's like the Grand National. This horses coming in and horses going out. Steve Cottrell's gone out at 10 to 1. Martin O'Neill's now at 10 to 1. Klopp's at 12 to 1. Roberto Di Matteo, we've not talked about, 16 to 1. Kevin Phillips at 20 to 1. Can't see Kevin Phillips, can you?
I can't see it, but then again, stranger things have happened, haven't they, really?
He knows the players. I mean, it looks like business as usual.
Yeah, it does. Steve Walsh and Craig Shakespeare seem to be looking after things very well. And do the club, normally I find that quite strange how Nigel Pearson has gone, but his backroom staff have stayed. And the club posted a video on their Twitter feed today of Matt Reeves. I think he's the top sports scientist at the club. And he looked very much at home. He looked very much that he was going to carry out his pre-season plans. Are they just looking for a new front man?
Yes, I think, and to be fair, if you're running a business, what other business in the world would employ a whole infrastructure based around a whole team that when you've had enough of them and you want to change it, you get rid of everybody? You just wouldn't do that. So, most businesses, you employ different people in different levels doing different jobs. If the guy there, is the top, he's Mr. Important, Nigel Pearson. But if he goes, you don't need to take out all that level beneath him. You keep that on in position. And this is what clubs like Swansea have done. They've built an infrastructure and then they change the person who's just directing it there. That's all they're doing. And with Pearson, they take him out and put somebody new in there, which is why people like Neil Lennon, Steve Cottrell, and it makes far more business sense to do it that way.
Definitely. I see where you're coming from. I really do. And I think that it does make a business sense to do that. But these people go around in teams, don't they? They are a management team.
I think that's old school, Owynn. I think that's just an old school way of doing it, or an older school way of doing it. I think now the European model is much more have a coach. You have a technical director of football who's knows his onions, done his time, knows lots of players, got 30 years worth of experience and contacts. You've got a younger up and coming hungry coach who's on the pitch, on the training pitch day to day, gets to know the players. And then like teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid have done, they just switch that person out.
But then again, has John Rudkin got this 30 years of experience? It's another question to ask, isn't it, really?
Yeah, well, I think you know the answers to that, don't you?
Exactly. No, he does.
But Gus does. So,
yes. But obviously, John Rudkin did a fantastic job with the academy, but are you going to say, excuse me, John, you're not having your job anymore. We're going to put you back down to the academy, and Gus Hiddink's coming in. You probably couldn't argue with it, but he still might be slightly annoyed at that fact.
No, I agree. I was surprised. I was slightly surprised when he's director of football because it is quite a high responsible job. Now, Owynn, before we go on to the next manager, which is Claudio Ranieri, we've got lots of people watching, which is great. And like we keep saying, we're going to build this up so it gets a lot bigger. But we do want lots of other fans to join in. It's me and Owynn talking at the moment. We don't want that. I'm already bored of listening to myself. I'm certainly bored of listening to Owynn. So all those people who are watching, some of you feel free to drop in. We'll bring you into the show. You can talk live on camera. You can join in. Your opinion is just as valid as ours, so do join in. But now we're going to talk about the next manager, who at 5 to 1. So he's third favourite at the moment. He is Mr. Claudio Ranieri.
I know. I spoke about him on my show on Hermitage FM today, and we were talking about how he has issued a come and get me plea to Leicester City. In a sense, he says if Leicester City gave him a call, he would certainly consider the vacant manager.
I bet he would.
And obviously, he's just left his post at Greece, in charge of Greece.
Isn't everybody leaving their posts in Greece, Owynn?
That's another story for another day, I think. Yeah, he's obviously left his post at Greece, and he's a free agent. He has managed Chelsea. He has managed a whole wealth of teams, and I think he was quoted in today's Mercury as saying that England, the Premier League is a league that strives on values of his childhood or something along those lines, and that is honest, it's fast-paced, and all these different kind of things. He clearly loves the Barclays Premier League. He clearly wants to come back. And if Leicester City said, here's $5 million a year, will you come back? I'm pretty sure he would probably say yes.
Yeah, I mean, he probably is one of those names that the club, I think, would think that is a worldwide name. I think it's as simple as that. He is known around the world. He has managed Chelsea. He's managed quite a few teams around Europe.
He's managed Inter Milan and won the Champions League with Esteban Cambiasso, which is an interesting one.
Did he?
He won the.
Oh, get you! I didn't know that.
He won the Champions League with Esteban Cambiasso during his time at Inter Milan. Could they be bringing in Claudio Ranieri in an attempt to keep Esteban Cambiasso?
Well, that's an interesting one, isn't it? I actually didn't know he was manager of him there. So suddenly I quite like the idea of Claudio Ranieri coming in. You've turned me round, Owynn, at 5-1. Let's get him in.
In one sentence, Phil is on the Claudio train.
Well, I'll tell you, if you said to me to get Esteban Cambiasso to sign for one more year, it's going to take having Claudio Ranieri for 1 year. I think if you put it like that, if we put that out now on Facebook and Twitter, I'm going to do it while you talk.
Okay.
I'd be interested to see what people say.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be very interesting to see that. Of course, like you said, you didn't know that he'd won the Champions League with him. I didn't know until today. So it's one of those things that could certainly sway Esteban Cambiasso. He would be working with a former manager, someone that he won the biggest prize in club football with, and that is the UEFA Champions League, and he won that with a manager who's coming back to manage at the club he's currently stalling over a deal on. I think personally that would sway the deal in terms of that. And of course, Esteban Cambiasso, everyone wants to see him return to the King Power Stadium next year. Every Leicester City fan wants to see him return to the King Power Stadium next year. I think a lot of football fans in general want to see him play in the Premier League next season. He lit up the Premier League once he got fit, sort of after Christmas time. He did light up the Premier League, and well, there's so many points that you can pick out. And personally, towards that end of the season, you could have dropped him into anyone's midfield in the Premier League. Like Chelsea, you could have dropped him into their central midfield. You could have dropped him to Manchester United central midfield. Manchester City and Arsenal crying out for a midfielder like that, someone to sit in front of the back four. So he could easily play at the very top level. So to have him on for another season, to have him for that one season, I think it ended perfectly for him. Normally when I do these things, I am a neutral. But as terms as a Leicester City fan goes, that bow at the Kop, I think, is as perfect as it could possibly be. Just leave it there. That for me.
No. We don't want to leave it there. We want Cambiasso to have another season. It was a fantastic moment. When he did bow, I did think the same. I was like, oh, don't do that. Although perhaps he was just doing a virtuoso performance. I've saved you. You know, he's apparently come out in the Argentinian press and said his aim in the Premier League was to go to a club where he was loved. He doesn't really need to win any more medals. He doesn't need to get paid any more money. No. But for me, he's been a big fish in a big pond with lots of other big fishes at people like Milan and Real Madrid. At Leicester, he is a massive fish in, let's be honest, a small pond. Yeah, that last game of the season, were we singing "We're Staying Up"? Yeah, a little bit. Were we chanting a few players' names? Yeah. Were we singing Cambiasso's name 20, 30 times throughout the whole game? Yes, we were. He was adored. And if he wants 32,000 fans to sing his name, just worship the ground he walks on, he's got it, and he's got it made. If he went to somewhere like West Ham or to Aston Villa, he's got to build that up, and it might not happen for him like it does this year. If he stays in the Premier League and stays at Leicester, he's got that. He's got godlike levels now for next season with Leicester City. Even if he did tail off next year and he did go over the top, over the hill, then the fans would stick with him. They know what he can do. So for me, if he's going to stay in the Premier League, I hope he does stay at Leicester. I think he's got, he could walk into Spurs team, Liverpool team. I think he could play top four, like you've just said, but he's not going to be worshipped if he does that. And I think that's the level he's at now. Unless he fancies another champion, I don't think Chelsea or Man U are going to take him now. Spurs, Liverpool, possibly. But for me, he should stay at Leicester.
I agree with what you said. If he wants to be a club where people absolutely adore the ground he walks on, then he's already there. He's already been offered a contract by that club. Leicester City fans, like you said, Leicester City fans would still adore him if he went over the hill next season. But personally, I can't see him going over the hill next season because he played so well throughout the last few games, and he was playing 90 minutes week in, week out. This guy can do it for another season, if not a couple of seasons, because tremendous.
Sorry, I've got a few tweets. I've tweeted that out and asked some of the fans, and I've got Ben Phillips already come back. And Ben Phillips, the question was, would you take Ranieri if Cambiasso signed as well? Because, as Owynn said, they've played together. Well, Ben Phillips has come straight back and said, compared to some of the other options, it's definitely, I would take it. I'm concerned that his style of play differs to that of the players we've got, though. I think managers and players can adapt. Adam Beniston. Hi, Adam. Thanks for joining us. He replies saying, yes, definitely. Cambiasso has to be a player coach as well. So people already biting on that one, Owynn, and already seen the way you've just put that there with the two of them together has already, I think, made people think slightly differently.
I think the idea of it is one. I mean, Ranieri is not a bad manager, is he? Let's be honest. He's won a lot, and he's done it all really. So if it meant that you could take Ranieri and take Esteban Cambiasso at the same time, I can see a lot of people saying, yeah, that won't be too bad. But again, this is in the hands of the owners. Did the owners know? Do the owners know that as well? Do they know that Esteban Cambiasso won the Champions League with Ranieri whenever it was a few years ago? Do they know that? Do they know these things? Because if they did, and they clearly want Esteban Cambiasso to stay, the owners are huge.
Sorry, Owynn, to butt in there. We've got just over 3 minutes of the show left. We've got more viewers than ever, which is great. So it looks like people are getting interested in maybe taking part in this. We'll be running lots more shows like this over the coming season because we want to hear what the fans say. We don't want to just hear Owynn and myself. So do join in. Join us via Google Hangouts. I've been putting the links up on 100% Facebook and Twitter feed, so it's very simple to join in. Owynn, we've got 2 minutes left. We are not going to talk about managers for the last 2 minutes. We are going to talk about Mr. Kante. Have I said that right?
Yeah, I think that's the way it's pronounced. Kante, of course. Well, for me, I looked at that when I heard Leicester City were in for him. I looked at it and thought, is this a replacement for Esteban Cambiasso?
Have we signed him, Owynn? Let's start there. Have we signed him? I read today on the Daily Express we have signed him, but then nothing official has come out. Again, from what I've heard from my sources, they've agreed a £7.8 million deal with his current club. I think it's MC Kane. I think that's the way or you pronounce it. I'm not entirely sure. But they've agreed a £7.8 million deal with them. And their president has come out today and said that Kante will not leave Kane for another club in France because Marseille are refusing to budge on their €5 million offer. And they said that's disrespectful to the club and Kante himself, and he's worth a lot more than that. So and the president said if Kante does leave this summer, it will be to Leicester City unless there's another late bid come in. Again, they've agreed a £7.8 million deal. Probably that's around the €10 million mark or somewhere around there. I think it's just down to personal terms now. They've got to get Kante on board. Have we lost Owynn there? Owynn, I'm not sure if we've lost you.
I'm still here.
All right. Carry on then.
I was just saying, how can they get Kante on board without a manager?
Well, we've been signing people. We signed players last week. We signed what's his face? I can't. And stop signing players. I can't pronounce the names. Okizaki. Yeah, we signed him. Fuchs. I can just about say that one without getting in trouble. We're signing players. You know, like I said, we've got a director of football. We've got the training staff. We've got all the infrastructure. We just don't have the guy who's going to manage us and pick the team. But
then again, the signings of Christian Fuchs, the permanent signing of Robert Huth, that's a massive coup, and the signing of Shinji Okazaki were all completed when Nigel Pearson was still in charge at the club, or everyone thought Nigel Pearson was the manager. So Leicester might have had a manager in charge when they did make those changes or made those signings.
No, I agree. The transfer window opened 10 days ago. I don't think there's been any fantastic movements by anybody, but without a shadow of a doubt, you would think we're missing out slightly. If I was a player, I wouldn't want to join a club where I didn't know who the manager was, because it might be somebody I don't like the look of. I don't like his style. I fell out with him before. I played for him before, shall we say? So it's bound to have a big effect for their signing. It's not doing us any favours, is it?
It's not doing them any favours at all. I think that's why it's pivotal to sort of get someone in as quickly as possible. I didn't think it would take this long. I really didn't. But new names are linked with the job every day. I mean, we saw the Preki from the American Third Division came out of the blue today, a bookie's favourite. Steve Cottrell emerged. Gus Hiddink emerged. Jurgen Klopp came out as another one. And these are all on different days. Every couple of days there's a new manager involved. And no doubt tomorrow there'll be another one. So
as long as it's not Sean Dyche, I can't stand his voice.
A gravel throat.
That's it. Owynn, it's about time for us to shut up. We've been going for over half an hour. Thank you very much, Owynn, for joining us, and thank you everybody.
Pleasure.
There you go. You can wave goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you very much for joining in and listening to me and Phil ramble on. We'll
be doing lots more rambling, and we want lots of fans to join in. So don't let it just be Owynn and Phil talking. We want to have 20 people, 30 people, lots of fans saying their things, just so we're introducing you. So from myself and Owynn, thank you very much for watching. Keep tuned. Who knows? Might be at this tomorrow night with some more ridiculous managers being touted for the Leicester job. So from myself and Owynn,
it's goodbye.
Goodbye. Blue Army.